So if you have a website that is not getting very much traffic, then maybe you need to try article marketing. Now, if you have spun or created a bunch of different articles, you will eventually have a bunch of groups made up. For, let's say, you could have website or site. Traffic could be visitors. We could simply say movement. So if I replace the button and then I want to add visitors, all I have to do is type that in and it will get added, and you'll see that the groups increases. So now that let's say you have a bunch of different groups that are already made after writing a few articles, you can use this button here, the mass replacer. Just click that button, and what ArticleBot Pro will do is it will go through the title, summary, body, and resource boxes of your article, and go through every single word and produce a group that relates to that word. So if, you can say if, assuming that, supposing that, granted that, of course that makes sense, granted that you have occupy a website, you'll see that it flashed over to website. So you can say website, site, replace again. That is not getting. In this case, I would say getting, catching, capturing, securing, replace, vary. See, I don't like any of the groups for this one because they're not really related to the word vary in this context. So what I'll do is I'll just say find next, and then it will just skip it. Much. So you could say that is not getting enough, a lot of, adequate, traffic, moving, visitors. So that makes sense. So I'll hit replace. Then you could say then, therefore, for this reason, replace. Then maybe, possibly, perhaps, replace. So you can see how this can really speed up your article rewriting efforts. You need to try, or okay, so none of those words really make sense, so I'll just hit find next. Find next. Okay, so you can see that within no time I've already created several different spin syntaxes within the body of my article. Now if I wanted to preview this, all I have to do is hit the preview button, and then what's going to happen is ArticleBot Pro is going to create an article preview of that article for you to view and show it in a web browser window. So supposing that you obtain a website that is not capturing very adequate movement, for that reason surely you need to try article marketing. Let's try that again. Preview. If you have a site that is not capturing very much movement, for this reason maybe you need to try article marketing. Preview again. Granted that you occupy a site that is not getting very adequate traffic, therefore maybe you need to try article marketing. So the more variation in words that you put for every spin syntax in your article, the more variation of your article you're going to get. Of course, it's a good idea to try and keep your grammar as good as possible, because some directory administrators do like to decline articles for bad grammar. And one other thing I wanted to show you is, let's say you wanted to replace a sentence. If I were to highlight these three words, try article marketing, and hit the thesaurus button, you'll see that spin syntax is automatically created, and then I can say try article submissions, just like that. And then I can just add another pipe and say try article writing, just like that. And then of course you can preview it again, so you can see try article submission shows up here. Preview it again, try article marketing, preview it again, need to try article writing. So you can see that the more that you do, the better off your article body is going to be, and of course you'll get more unique submissions, and Google likes unique content, and since unique content is king, you'll get more backlinks because those pages will be indexed in the Google search engines. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is the spin button. This is where we actually create our various different articles. So I'll just hit the spin button, and how many articles would you like spun? The default is 100, but since I only have such a small amount of text in my body, I'll just hit 5. I'll hit OK. When the spinning is complete, it'll ask if to open the folder of articles. So in this case, I'll click yes, and I'll just drag the folder over, and you'll see now that we have 5 articles here. I gave the title article title, but obviously your title is going to be something related to what your article is about. So if you just want to open one up, you double click it, and Notepad or whatever text editor you have will open up, and the different text will show up in the body of that text file. This is formatted so that ArticleBot Pro can read the article, and when you go through the submission process, ArticleBot Pro will be using these articles to submit to different article directories. Okay, so one of the last things I wanted to go over with you was the keywords and the categories. I think I might have mentioned this earlier in the video, but for keywords, you're just basically entering the idea of your article. So let's say your keywords will be article submission, article marketing, and whatever else you can think of. You can go 5 or 6 keywords and you should be okay. For categories, what I did is instead of supplying a drop down of categories for you to select from, because I didn't do that because maintaining that type of list is a nightmare. So instead, what you can do is you can enter you don't have to enter the full word of what you're trying to, what your category should be. For example, if you're writing an article related to marketing, you can just say market. And what ArticleBot Pro will do when it's submitting the article is find the category that is related to marketing by just searching for a word within a word. So if you enter all your different article or your different category titles, I'll just finish off here, and then last one will be game. If none of these are found, then ArticleBot Pro will actually select a random category. But it's always good to try and find the article that relates, or the category that relates to your article. So this pretty much concludes the video for article editing. The only thing I didn't go over was this search inside spin syntax button, but if I were to hit that and go mass replacer, you'll see that ArticleBot Pro now searches inside of the spin syntax. And so if you wanted to search and replace words within spin syntax, you can do that. I'll just show you an example of it not searching inside. Hit mass replacer again, find next, and now you'll see that it's not hitting any of the spin syntax. But anyways, that finishes off this video. If you hit cancel, your article will not get saved. If you hit OK, your article will get saved. So I'll just hit OK. You'll notice up here now the articles have the article has shown up in the articles box, and then you can go in and edit it. Alright, see you in the next video.